button here. Everybody accept that. And welcome to the New Jersey Environmental Fundraisers Gathering. It's October. And so this time we have our guest Floyd Jones from Givebutter. We're going to talk about end of year giving. And so I'm handing over the stage to you, Floyd.
Awesome. Let's really quick. I'm not sure. I know that Jen is on a call, but Tori and Brielle, are you all doing end of year fundraising campaigns? Let's hope. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Hey, Jen Rogers, you're back.
I am. I moved to the really messy storeroom where our router is. So
No problem.
now
No
I have better
problem.
Wi-Fi.
Tell us about your org, and are you doing an end of year campaign?
Sure. Friends of Hopewell Valley Open Space is an accredited land trust here
Mm,
in Hopewell, New Jersey. So we're near the river, and Princeton and Trenton, I guess, are some of our closer, larger areas. And this is my first year being an executive director.
wow, congratulations.
Thanks. And I'm also our development director, our marketing, our communications, and
Period.
all of that,
Period.
right?
Period.
So, yes. So historically, my organization has done an annual appeal for end of year giving. This year, I would also like to introduce Giving Tuesday and theme
Mm,
our Giving Tuesday around one of our successful and exciting projects.
mm.
And some of my board members are like, are we going to lose annual appeal donations if we do Giving Tuesday also? And I had said, I don't think so. But because it kicks off.
Abundance mindset. Abundance mindset. Come on now.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. I have never done an annual appeal before. I've also have never done a fundraising gala, and I did that in September, and
Come
we came up
on.
a little short, but we're doing our best here.
It's amazing. How much you guys raise in your gala?
We raised just about $70,000.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, but we netted closer to 53. And it was budgeted for me to bring in 80,000 with our gala
Hey, a
in
step
my
is a
first
step.
year.
And also now you have all of these people who are showing that they're interested in being a part of what you're doing. So that's really, really exciting. How much do you guys typically raise for your end of year appeal?
I don't, our end of year appeal has fluctuated in success the last few years.
Hmm.
I don't have those numbers on me. But I think yeah, I actually can't even say because I haven't seen those numbers, but we're
No
planning on
problem.
trying to get our appeal letter out at the beginning of December because we
Good.
learned that was what our members like.
Are used to? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. I love it. Thank you for that. Tori or Brielle, do any of you want to share before we jump in? I had mentioned that we have a smaller group today, so I want to make it interactive and make it the most effective. Y'all gonna get what people pay for, okay? We're gonna give it to y'all. I want to go deep. I want to give you guys ideas, the whole shebang. Oh, Brielle, you're off of mute. Let's go. I love it.
Hi, Floyd. Hi, everybody. Yes, so I'm Brielle Olshan. I'm with the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. So we're so fortunate to have Lauren to guide us on end of year
Mm,
giving and the whole campaign there. My power and Wi-Fi have gone out, so I
mm,
am just connecting and just trying to keep my video off, but I am
mm.
here and
Good.
so thrilled to be here. So thanks so much.
I love it. I love it. Lauren and Brielle, I guess, are you guys doing end of year fundraising?
We would never miss it, Floyd. Never.
How's it been for you all in the past?
Well, we've learned things. We
Yeah.
start early.
Yeah.
We always try to get it out as early as possible. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. And
I
there's
love
a
it.
lot of moving parts.
I love it. There's so many moving pieces. I love it. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen unless Tori, if you want to, feel free to jump off of mute. But if you can't hear us or you're doing something, no worries. I'm gonna share my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Awesome. All right, well, let's jump right in. So, my name is Floyd. I'm a speaker, coach, community builder. I also recently founded an organization called Back Black, and we have raised over $2 million for 770 Black-led nonprofits. I love working with grassroots organizations. I love fundraising, all of the things. I have my code here, but I'll also drop it in the chat. But if you guys are interested, I will share the slides with you afterwards. We probably won't even get through all of them today just because I want to make it, like I said, interactive. But if you guys want me to send these slides to you, just drop your email and I'll send them your way. All right. So we kind of talked about this, so I'm just going to keep on going through, but my story and how I kind of got involved with the whole Giving Tuesday end of year campaign fundraising was in 2017, an organization that I was working for, the Volo Kids Foundation, they launched their first ever Giving Tuesday campaign. And y'all, when I say I was there and I was like, let's do Giving Tuesday. And then everyone looked at me and they're like, yes, let's do it. And then I was like, they were like, what's a Giving Tuesday? And I was like, I don't know, but we're going to figure it out. But I just knew that this was my first ever major development job. I love what you said, Jen. You were the first time executive director, development director, comms director, child. We know that life, okay? I was the first full-time hire for this organization. My salary was completely funded by the board chairman. And I was like, all right, we got to make this work. We got to figure this out. And we didn't really have a development operation, right? Like we were so brand new. We were so green. We were just figuring it out. We had volunteers, we had program participants, we had program partners, but we didn't have a formal development operation. And our goal was to raise $5,000. And we had one ask of our supporters. And the reason why the goal was $5,000 was because I knew that we wanted to fund one program. And at the time, a program for 8 weeks providing free sports for kids, because that was our mission, to provide free sports for kids, an 8-week program cost $5,000, and that would support 40 children. That would cover the permits, that would cover the snacks, that would cover the volunteers, it would cover the jerseys, the whole shebang. So I said, I want to be able to see, can we even raise $5,000, right? And that's actually one thing that I'll tell everybody when you're just getting started. And I keep going back to you, Jen, but when it's your first time doing something, it's okay, unless you're planning a first time gala and you're going to raise $70,000 and say, oh my God, we're going to amaze. It's okay to start small, right? Like it's okay to just say, let's get started, right? If you've never done a Giving Tuesday campaign or never done something like a peer-to-peer campaign, it's okay to just get the party started and see what can be done, right? Because every single thing is about learning, right? I always say, actually, Nelson Mandela always said, and now I always say, is I never lose, I either win or learn, right? I never lose, I either win or learn. And learning sounds like winning to me. Come on, somebody. So I said, our goal was to raise $5,000, and I had one ask of the volunteers. I said, you know what? I told everybody this. I said, on Giving Tuesday, all I want you to do is change your profile picture to a picture of you as a kid playing a sport, because come on, we were providing free sports for kids, and then share the link to our campaign. Talk about what sports meant to you growing up and share that link to the campaign so other people could support. I just told everybody. I said volunteer. I went to all of our program partners. I asked the parents. If you knew how to say the word sport, I said, do you know what soccer is? Can you do this? Like everybody I could think of, I said, change the picture, your profile picture to a picture of you as a child playing a sport and tell your story and share the link to the campaign. And y'all, something amazing happened on Giving Tuesday, okay? I was absolutely blown away because not only did the volunteers share their pictures, but people were commenting and they were like, I remember when I played soccer and my child is now signed up for basketball, and oh, we're doing field hockey. And not only did the volunteers change their pictures, but y'all, people were sharing that post and they were changing their pictures, right? People that we didn't even know or didn't even ask, they were changing their pictures. People were sharing and changing their picture. It literally went mini viral. I was like, what's going on? And on Giving Tuesday, y'all, we didn't just raise $5,000. By the way, that's a picture of me as a child playing a sport. Do you see it? I still got the smile. Come on now, somebody. But we didn't just end up raising $5,000, y'all. We ended up raising over $30,000 on Giving Tuesday. And now for an organization that had never done this before, had no donors, I was absolutely blown away. And the momentum carried on. right? The year after that, the volunteers came to me. They were so excited. They're like, when can we get involved? Because we actually branded our campaign. We called it So Every Child Can Play, right? And that became our unofficial moniker. Like, So Every Child Can Play was our tagline. It was a thing that we really got everyone to go to. And even like you said, Jen and Lauren, you're like, we would never miss it, right? Because you know, end of year is a time for our appeal, or it's time to get involved, right? Because you've built it up. People know how to expect this thing, right? And so we named our campaign. We had t-shirts that said So Every Child Can Play, right? And so the year after that, the volunteers came to us, and y'all, that year they ended up raising over $60,000. And the year after that, they ended up raising over $90,000. And the year after that, they ended up raising over $130,000. Y'all, I'm not even at the organization anymore. They are still doing the So Every Child Can Play campaign. I already got my first email from it. They're still running the playbook. Y'all, they are now raising over $200,000 from this one campaign year after year. Year after year. The one thing that I learned from this campaign is that the power of community in your fundraising, it's no longer about me. It's about we. It's no longer about me, it's about we. And it's about how do we become collaborative? How do we do things differently? How do we see differently? How do we believe differently, right? And that is what the power of community can do. So I want to jump right into the S's of success: setting an intention, setting a goal, sharing your story, segmentation, and supporter mobilization. I'm going to just go through a couple things, and stop me whenever you want to stop me, because we have a small group, like I said, but I want to make sure I get to the things that are super, super helpful for you, okay? So why do I say setting an intention is first? Because a lot of times we go into business as usual mode. A lot of times we go into business as usual mode, and we wonder why our numbers decrease. We wonder why we're not expanding and the people spreading the word about us, right? We wonder why we're getting burnt out and doing everything on our own and on our own shoulders, because we make it that way, right? And so I always say, what is your intention? What is the why behind your campaign? Why are you doing this thing? How do you want to feel? How do you want your donors to feel at the end of this experience, right? Because the why is going to inform the what, right? Your why is going to inform your decisions, your messaging, your reporting, all of these different things. Really anchoring in on that is so incredibly important, and I really hope that it's not skipped, okay? My intention was clear. I said we want to provide as many sports for kids as possible, as many free sports for kids as possible. So funny, I always joke, growing up, I played soccer for like a few weeks, and I scored in the wrong goal, and I was like, okay, mom, I think I'm supposed to be in the theater. But I knew the power that playing sports had, right? I knew the power, and I even came back when I was in high school and played baseball and the whole shebang. But I knew the power that community had, but I didn't realize that that power came with the price, right? For so many people, it came with the price. And so our goal and our mission was to lower those barriers and make it as free as possible. So I made sure that I set that intention. I didn't know how we were going to raise that money. I didn't know how we were going to reach our goals, but I knew that if I had the why, that was going to lead me to the what. Okay. After you set your intention, then you set your goal. Now, I always ask myself, what do you need and why do you need it? Right? How much will it cost to get you what you need? Who do you need to be in order to accomplish this goal? And then staying focused while you're trying to achieve it. So here are the 4 C's of goal setting that I always talk to people about, right? Get clear, especially at the end of the year, because there's going to be a bajillion and one different fundraisers happening. How much do you need to raise, and what do you need to raise the money for? Especially if you're doing some kind of peer-to-peer campaign of sorts. How much do you need to raise, and what do you need to raise the money for? I'm just going to go off mute, because come on, somebody, we're going to be interactive with this small group. How much do you need to raise? Does anybody know off the top of their head how much they're hoping to raise from their end of year campaign?
Just more than we did last year.
What was last year?
Not, I think like 50,000. Not
50 or 15?
50.
Love it. Love it. That's an amazing place to start. Jen, what about you?
I'm gonna need close to 36,000, so we're not in a deficit this year. I would
Sure.
love to start my first year not ending in a
Mm.
deficit, and would love to have a tiny surplus going into 2025.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Love it. Lauren, do you guys have a goal?
We do. And what is it? I don't remember.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I love it. Well, if anybody else is on the call, I know a few people joined in. Feel free to join off of mute. If not, let's keep on going. But I love this because this is so, so, so good. Having a clear number, because I'm going to show y'all how to break this down in a second, okay? And then also being clear on what do you need the money for, right? Especially you. I don't know why I keep going back to you, Jen. I think maybe because you're the first person on my screen when I look down. But even knowing, hey, we need to cover this gap so we can go in without a deficit. You, in your case, you're gonna talk about the goal, your overarching goals for next year. You're gonna talk about all the things that you're hoping to do next year, all the different things that you're hoping to accomplish next year, and you're gonna get people to buy into that. That is what's gonna get them excited about the future. You know what I'm saying? So being very clear is important. Compelling, okay? Why should supporters care? What is their connection to the campaign, right? What is their, especially okay, this is my last one for you, Jen, and then I'm gonna go to somebody else because I just keep going to you. But you had mentioned that you guys also do an end of year appeal, right? So I'm in a couple of slides, I'm gonna talk about segmentation, but the beauty of an end of year campaign is that you can use it to target a lot of the people who don't get involved in your end of year appeal, or they who don't get involved with other legacy giving opportunities. This is a brand new way to re-engage them in a different way, in a more compelling way, right? So getting back to the core of what is their connection, what's in it for them is gonna be so incredibly important. Concise. When do you need to raise these funds by? I always make sure that the organization I'm working with have a specific end date, right? Make sure that they have a specific end date. So for you, Amy, one thing that I would encourage you to do during this time for your campaign is see in what ways you guys can secure matching gifts for your campaign and make sure that they're all time bound, because we want to be able to raise more than $50,000, right? You can always hit, hey, $50,000 got us to this level, but now we're trying to do 60,000, or now we're trying to do 70,000, and we have until this specific day to do it. We have these specific partners who are getting on board to help us make that happen. Who's ready? Who's going to get involved, right? So make sure that you're concise with it and you have a specific end date. And then also community. Who will be your champions for this cause? I always say end of year is such a celebratory time. Don't just call on your donors, call on your partners who you've worked with before, call on corporate partners, call on former funders. I have actually had former granting partners who have been involved with our organization before end up writing a check and they're like, oh, we have additional funds that need to be granted out. Thank you for reaching out. Here's $10,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that is possible. Now is the time to sound the alarm, call all the king's horses and all the king's men, child, and bring them involved with your campaign, okay? Segment your audience. This is my favorite thing to do. I dropped a link in here and I'll drop it towards the end. But I always train people on segmentation because segmentation is going to lead you to success. Knowing who the people in your audience is and having a real segmentation strategy is so incredibly important. I always talk about the 4 C's in community building, okay? There's your catalyst, there's communicate, there's convert, and then there's catapult. Catalyst is how are you going to share the spark? How are you going to get that spark going for your people, right? Especially when you're trying to build a new program or get people to do a new thing. What is going to share the spark? Maybe that's social media. Maybe that's a digital ad. But how are you going to capture the attention of new people for your organization, right? After you capture their attention, then they go to level 2, which is communicate. Now is when you're nurturing that audience. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but I always say, don't let the first time that your donors are hearing from you be when you need money from them, right? Now is the time to start nurturing them for Giving Tuesday, which is December 3rd. You know what I'm saying? Start talking to them now. You got weeks to go, right? So communicate through email, through social media. Maybe you're making phone calls, right? This is the time where you're getting them back in, you're getting them nurtured. And also, this is why KPIs matter. At every single level here, I always make sure that you have clear metrics. So maybe you're tracking, okay, how many people opened up my email? Who opened up my email? If we have a landing page to talk about our end of year campaign, who clicked on that email? Why? Because now you're going to have all of those things are different data points, right? If you have a different data point, all those people can get a different strategy. And you go, okay, these 10 people opened up my message. Now I want to communicate with them even more. I saw that you checked out our website. Let me tell you more about the campaign. Or what are you interested in this end of year campaign, right? And going deeper. Let the data give you the details that you need to succeed, okay? Then convert. This is going to be different for every single person, right? Convert is where are they taking that first impactful step, right? So maybe for some people it's donating to your end of year campaign. Maybe for some people it's becoming a fundraiser for your end of year campaign, right? You dictate what the convert level is, and there's different levels to the convert level as well, but getting very clear on the action. I always say for your end of year campaign, there needs to be one action, right? It needs to be donate or get involved with the campaign. And when they get involved, they're going to realize they can donate, they can become a fundraiser, they can share your campaign, they can bring on other partners, right? But getting very clear on how people can support you is going to be very, very important. And then lastly is catapult. Catapult what is like the highest level engagement in a community, because catapult means they're taking the community into their own hands. They're now referring people to you. They're bringing their corporate partners to you. They're bringing other PR people and board members to you, and they're saying, "Hey, I feel so much ownership of this. I'm gonna host this gala. Jen, go ahead, sit down, girl. I'm gonna host this gala on your behalf, right? We're gonna get there. Don't worry. Not this year, but next year. But those are what you're working towards, right? And so for some of you, your end of year campaign is going to be the catalyst moment, right? It's going to be the moment where you're sparking new attention, right? But for others of you, it's going to be a convert moment. So maybe for Jen, this is a catalyst moment. We've never done an end of year campaign. Let me introduce something new, right? Let me run a couple of ads to get some people, new people into our network, right? But for some of you, like you, Amy, this could be a convert moment because you did an end of year campaign last year. Now, how many of those people can be convert to becoming fundraisers this year? How many of those people can be converted to becoming corporate partners this year, right? It's all about getting very dialed in starting now on how do you want to break this down. And the only way that you're going to know what level this is by segmenting your audience, right? Decide which groups you want to engage with and why, because not all groups are created equal. Every group is equally important. Don't get me wrong, because that's my biggest pet peeve. Someone is not just because they give $5 doesn't mean that they're less important than someone who gets $5,000, right? Every single person has an opportunity. And I'm going to go back to this image here, because so many people in fundraising look at that traditional pyramid, right? The traditional period of moves management and donor engagement is you want a higher donation. But in community building and community-led fundraising, it's not about getting a higher donation. It's about getting your donors to be the highest version of themselves. Come on, somebody. You want them to be the highest version of themselves. We need to transform that mindset, because I always say people first and then the profits will come, right? Relationships first and then the revenue will come. So that's why we segment our audience, because we want to know who is in our community, right? So here's exactly how I think that you should segment your audience. This is what's worked for me. It may be different for you, but this is what's worked for me. One is donor amount. I actually segment all of my donors into donor amount, low, middle, high. You dictate what that means for your community, right? You know what that means for you. But I do always segment. Why? Because I have a different strategy for each person. So maybe for your end of year campaign, your lower donors, or maybe this for you is people who've been to one event, right? Maybe you want to engage them this time in social media fundraising, or maybe you want to engage them this time in having meetups, right? A lot of times people would do like, you know, those like fundraising nights and stuff like that at restaurants. Like those are the ways that you can engage those people, right? Maybe your mid donors, maybe these are the people who become fundraisers on your behalf, right? And you say, hey, you've gotten involved before. I don't want to ask you for anything, but can you mobilize your community to help raise money on our behalf this time? And maybe your high donors or your corporate partners, right? Maybe these people are the matching donors. Hey, you've given $1,000 to our organization before. You donated $5,000. Can you be a Giving Tuesday match? Or can you be an end of year campaign match this time around, right? And leveraging all those dollars to get to where you need to get to. And remember, that's why the number one thing was start with your goal and having a clear understanding. You know that if you need $36,000, okay, that means I got to get 100 people to give me $36, right? Like it becomes more doable when you break it down by amount, right? Donor frequency. I also segment by donor frequency. Are they a recurring giver, right? Or how often have they given to my organization? Have they given only once? Have they given this year? Have they gave last year? Did they give to my end of year campaign last year, right? You know what I mean? Really dialing in on the donor frequency and at what times have they given, what campaigns have they given is very, very important. Donor campaign type. So what types of campaigns do they donate to? I just mentioned this, but how, did they give at an event? Did they go to my last gala, or did they donate in my last year campaign, right? Have they, when do they give in the year, right? That's also important. Did they give, I know you said that your end of year appeal is so incredibly important. Okay, do they just enjoy giving in the last 3 days? And that's not, I'm going to hit them up for that. You know what I'm saying? So being really mindful of what campaign types they donate to is important. And then also member affinity. So my biggest thing for fundraising is a team sport, okay? It's not just all on one person's shoulders, and it's also not just up to your donors. Everyone is a potential donor. So maybe they're a volunteer. Maybe the volunteer, since they're so used to volunteering, again, maybe they'll be a fundraiser for your campaign, or maybe they'll share your campaign online. Remember, sharing is also a form of currency. It's taking up social space. And the more people who can see what you're doing, the higher you'll go, the more that you can achieve. So what type of member are they? Are they a volunteer? Are they a partner? Are they a program participant? Getting very clear on that is very, very important. And then you're going to want to build a strategy accordingly. Okay. Community engagement. Okay, I mentioned this before, but again, make sure you're communicating with your donors beforehand. And then also, when you're seeing who responds to you and who follows up and whatnot, make sure you're jotting this down in your CRM. I love a platform like Givebutter because it's all free. You can actually communicate all these different things in free. You can email them, and we can track your email in the platform. But you can also add notes in your CRM as well. So whatever you're using, make sure that you're tracking and keeping up to date, okay? And then also, just a random aside, but I always talk about this idea of moves management because really knowing who your donors are is a year-long process. It's an ongoing process, right? And so making sure that you make a plan for all of these people throughout the year is going to be very, very important. Okay, I just want to drop for 5 seconds. Who has questions? Any questions so far before we go into mobilize your supporters? Good? All good? Some of the people who I can't see? All right, we're going to keep on going. Now it's time to actually figure out how do you mobilize these supporters. So after you set your goal and your intention, after you know what you're raising your money for, and after you've segmented your audience accordingly so you have a real strategy, now it's time to say, okay, hey, it's not going to just be us sending out general messages and whatnot. We're going to actually mobilize some fundraisers. We're going to mobilize some deeper supporters for our initiative. So here are the people that I always tap into for a dream team. One is our fierce advocates. So people who are spreading the word about your campaign before, champions, superstar volunteers, social influencers, thought leaders. Can you guys think of some people, Autumn? I'm sure you guys could think of people who, when I say, who are the most engaged people in your community who can rally on your behalf? You probably already have some thoughts in your mind. Would you say so? I hope so. Okay, good. Love that. And how are you engaging some of them now? Again, I'll go off of mute, but how are you guys engaging some of your people now in the end of year fundraising? Or is it more one street?
Are you talking to me?
Anybody?
So, oh, sorry. Yeah. Not a whole lot. We send out a quarterly newsletter with
Okay.
our updated cases, and that's kind of it.
Do you guys do any type of peer-to-peer fundraising, or is it just like an end of year appeal?
Just pretty much the end of year. I mean, I do I've done a very weak Giving Tuesday, but you're really giving me ideas of actually not just making it a, hey, it's Giving Tuesday, give to us.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love that. I am so excited for you, Amy, because if you guys raise $50,000 without doing this, like just general, imagine how much you can raise when you have people carrying that baton. This is so much opportunity. I love it. What about you, Jen?
We also do an e-newsletter. We do one every other month to keep our audience up to date and our members up to date on grants that we're getting, projects we've taken on, and exciting things that are happening in the area. I also just write like something that is appropriately seasonable. So we do that. We do some programming, not a lot because we don't have extra staff to do that, but I do squeeze in hikes on our preserves. And
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I have an idea now. I'm like, go on a virtual hike. Let's take a virtual hike and share some of your pictures and stuff like that. And now invite a couple members on this hike with us. We're gonna climb up that mountain, and the mountain is $50,000 or $36,000. Come on, who's coming on the hike with me? Child, don't start with me. I got many ideas, okay? So this is the time when you're assembling your dream team. It's the people who've been on the hikes with you. It's the people who've opened up your messages before. It's the people who've responded. It's all the new people who haven't done anything, but you're like, I know that they could get involved. Such an awesome experience and opportunity. And I feel like this might not be the same for you all, but I always say be mindful, because an audience is not the same thing as a community, right? They're two different things. An audience is one-way communication. You know what I'm saying? It's just sending out the general email, but a community is multi-layered communication. It's people speaking back to you. An audience is just performative, or focusing on views on social media and making the posts. But a community is centralized around goals and collaboration, right? And that's why I love the opportunities that you all have, because you really can take it to the next level and get there. And remember, it's not about, yes, the amount is important, because guess what? The light bill don't care about my community they're like, okay, listen, it's due on this day, right? But I promise you, it's better to have a small group of passionate people who can go deep, because they're gonna carry you through. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we really want to focus on, is building this community. How can you do that? What are some ideas? Friendly competition, I think about, gifts, perks, discounts, and don't make them random, but it's like, okay, hey, if we're gonna go on this going on a hike idea that we talked about, okay, well, maybe you're partnering with a store, a local brand that's aligned with your mission, and they're doing giveaways. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying, hey, anybody who donates $100 or more in the next day, you're gonna get entered for this giveaway. You know what I mean? Perks and other different prizes. Now, don't make it random. So many times I see people who are like, we're gonna give you a pen, and I'm like, just keep your pen, please. Okay, we don't need it. We don't need it. But making it something that's relevant to the cause and relevant to your people. Also, friendly competition. Like, I really love it. Sometimes we say, who's gonna reach the summit first? Going through this hike idea, right? Who gonna get to the top first? And that's when you split up your fundraisers into teams, and you're like, the team that reaches $1,000 first, you reach the top. You know what I'm saying? Like, just making it fun and active and engaged is such a different approach for it, and a different way of doing things that will keep your people fired up. And before you launch, make it easy, right? Don't make it something that's super stressful or laborious. Make it an easy opportunity, right? So allow yourself time. I don't know who said that at the beginning, but it's a multi-layered situation. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. And I always say, give yourself time. So come up with your list, reach out to your list, share the vision with them. I always give myself like at least 2 to 3 months. So this is perfect timing for you all. But give them opportunities to get involved, to get excited about the vision. I usually host a kickoff call too. I'm like, okay, you guys are the chosen ones, right? We're going on a journey today. Get your North Face and your Cowpacks and all your Now jeans, whatever you need to do. Come on board. It's going to be a great experience, right? Give them a toolkit. I always talk about giving people a toolkit. That's going to say, here are pictures you can post online. Here are appropriate graphics that you can post online. Here's sample messages and emails that you could share with your family and friends that we want you to utilize, right? Maybe you're going to have people writing letters for you. Maybe you have people who are sending letters on your behalf. Another thing you could do, Jen, is usually you guys send the letters, but if your people like letters so much, maybe they can send letters to a few people. You know what I'm saying? And you're giving them cardstock. You're giving them stationery. You know what I'm saying? And you're tapping into the people who've been impacted. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I have so many ideas for Jen. We need to just talk at this point. I got many ideas. But maybe you're putting pictures inside the letters, inside the envelopes from your hikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many different ideas to make this more of an interactive thing. Maybe in the letters you're putting a QR code that's going to scan them and send them to a website that actually brings the hike to life, and you're showing all the pictures and the impact. You know what I mean? There's so many things that you can do, but you make it about them. You bring them in. You know what I'm saying? Some best practices after you get involved or after your campaign kicks off. Update your supporters, okay? Keep them updated throughout the campaign. I always say we're 25% of the way there, we're 50% of the way there, and send them updates throughout, because remember, they're on the journey now with you. You don't want to say, get on this hike with me, and then you leave them somewhere, child, and they get lost, and then we have to call the coach. Don't let them get stressed, child. Guide them to the summit, right? Take them along with you, give them updates, and acknowledge them when they come on board and they join. I'm so happy that you're here. You know what I mean? Reiterating that you're glad that they're with you, right? And I always say direct people to one call to action. So even though you and I know that there are so many different things that they could do, I always say get involved in this campaign or donate now when they come to your page. And you know what? This is why segmentation is so important, because maybe different segments are going to have different CTAs, right? Maybe one segment is you're my fundraisers, right? And I really want to challenge you, Amy, maybe out of all your people who donated, maybe we're going to go through and see, I want 10% of these people to be fundraisers this time around. You know what I'm saying? And then you're going to have a prize for them at the end, and we're going to esteem you and boost you up and showcase you. You know what I'm saying? So maybe their call to action is become a fundraiser. But maybe for Jen, since it's your first time around, donate. Or maybe it's share this post online if you're going to try to do something new. You know what I mean? So give them a very clear call to action. And then also, y'all, consider a participation goal over financial goal. As we continue to grow, when I was doing these fundraising campaigns, and even now, right? I just launched a campaign in August. We raised over $2 million, right? I said, what is my participation goal? And not just my fundraising goal, because that makes it about the people and not just the profit that you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? And if you are always growing over time and you're giving them clear metrics and you're getting people involved, that's a win right then and there. Okay. All right. Campaign planning. Let me see what time it is. 4:33. Okay. Get creative. So what's the best campaign type for your network? You have fundraising pages, you have auctions, donation forms, events, appeals, and letters that you could send out. But be clear, how are you going to get people involved this time around, right? Be very, very clear and intentional. Oh my God, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they said, we're going to do registration for tickets on here, and we're going to have donates on this page. And then people, if they want to make a contribution, they can go here. If they want to sponsor, they can go. And I was like, oh, this ain't it. This is too much. You don't want to confuse your people. This is what we talked about on the summit. You don't lose them, child. Don't make them get stressed. We all gonna go on the walk together. We're gonna get to where we need to get to. Okay. One CTA, one landing place. So be clear on what kind of campaign you want to do. Also, how will you stand out from the crowd? I daggone near planned your campaign, Jen. We going on this hike. I'm ready, okay? My boots is ready downstairs, okay? But how are you going to stand up for the crowd? I'm curious to hear, Lauren and Amy, what are some ideas that you guys potentially have on how do you want to make this interactive? Like, we got a couple minutes. Let me give you some ideas. Talk to me, Amy. What are you hoping to raise money for?
Okay, so what we raise money for is so most of our work is pro bono or very low cost. Most of our clients are either community groups, community organizations fighting, bad water or air or something, or environmental organizations, some who are on here. So we are either pro bono or low cost. So that's what we raise money for. So we can afford to fight these cases if they go to the courts, or even, like we'd like to hire a part-time development person, things like that. So yeah,
Love that.
Yeah. Again, it's not sexy. That's the thing, and that's our.
If
That's
you're
my
fighting
issue.
for my rights, I don't know what's sexier than that. If you're fighting for freedom, let me tell you something, that's amazing. And one thing that I think would be really, really cool for you, Amy, is how can all of your clients get involved? Like, how can they become fundraisers and trailblazers on your behalf? You know what I mean? Because guess what's going to happen now? Not only are they spreading the word, but we're also now get to see all the different people up close and personal who you support. So all of them now can have their own fundraising page, and they can actually showcase their work. And you're going to say, hey, now that we were able to raise this money, we're able to do even more and support you even more in the future. You know what I'm saying? And make this one more robust. And also, maybe you would even consider maybe a percentage can go back to them. You know what I mean? So that they can continue to invest on their own. So there are so many different things that you all could do. I love that. Come on now. What about you, Lauren? Oh, you're on mute, Lauren.
Thank you
Also,
for
Lauren
letting me
said,
know.
I'm just here to host. You doing too much now, Floyd.
Thank you, Floyd. We need to pay for Amy's lawyers.
Listen, exactly. Honestly, if I were you guys, I mean, obviously you have to think about it, but I think it'd be kind of cool to think about how do you come with some kind of cohesive thing, especially you guys have so many people in this network. I mean, maybe y'all will team up in some kind of way, but imagine what y'all could do. You know what I mean? Imagine the impact. And I just feel there's a lot of opportunity. But what specifically, Lauren, are you all hoping to raise money for in the next year?
General operating.
General operating. And what are some of the other things that you guys want to accomplish? Not like fundraising goals, but is there like a specific, amount of parks that you want to clean up or people that you want to serve, or do you want to grow this group by a certain amount?
It's an interesting question because what we do is we protect a region through
Mm,
policy. And so
mm,
someone needs to go to Trenton. Someone needs to go
mm,
and educate people.
I
And
love that.
somebody needs to work with all the small organizations that are helping to do much of the work in their communities.
I
An
love
environmental
that.
company.
I love that. So maybe you're gonna have a region by region off. You know what I'm saying? And in each region, you're gonna have the organizations in that region who want to participate can be involved, or you can even just share the organization that you're serving in those regions. You know what I mean? Like there are so many different things that y'all could do to get creative and stand out. But really, again, connecting people to the cause is so important because this is important work, and people need to know that it exists. You know what I'm saying? All right, now we go to sharing your story, and that leads me to sharing your story, right? I talked about, I mean, our thing was very, very easy, right? It was we're providing free sports for kids. Make a picture of yourself as a kid. Let's make this money. You get it. You know what I mean? But for people like you all, maybe for you all, because you're facing more complex issues, this is where I would lean into the storytelling of not necessarily what you're specifically doing, but the impact of what you're doing, right? So maybe you're lobbying and we're seeing pollution numbers go down or something like that. Well, let's interview somebody in that region who is now impacted by it because of the work that you did. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be a super sexy highly edited video. Have them record something on their phone. So many people are like, oh my God, that's boring. No, it actually does really well. I have gone viral many times on TikTok. I'm talking millions of views on my videos, and my highest rated views are the ones that I recorded on my phone, not the ones that I got nicely produced. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're getting your people together to actually share their stories, that's going to go a very, very, very long way. Okay. I always make sure that there's some kind of conversion in the story though. So what is the hook? What is the thing that's going to actually get them involved? What's the thing that's actually going to spark attention when they see the video? Then you guide them, right? For me, it was okay. Here's a picture of my kid, of me as a kid. Guide was me telling my story of what sports meant to me. Empowerment, you have the power to make this actually happen. And if you donate $20, then the result is going to be a child going to be able to have the same exact experience, and they're going to be smiling like me. Come on, somebody, right? But you got to figure out what is that version for you and your organization? What's the hook, right? Maybe you're talking about the impact that on the environment over I mean, look at what we're going through right now, all the hurricanes and everything, right? Come on, talk about that. We can share the devastation. The guide is together. We can actually make an impact, and empowers. If you donate, well, you're going to help us get some more lawyers and attorneys, and the result is going to be we're going to have a changed community. We're going to have a changed New Jersey. Come on, somebody. Who wouldn't want to support that? I don't know. I know I would. And then leverage their networks, right? Meet the people where they're at, right? Whether I started our campaign on Facebook, but where are your people? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram? Or is it just via email, right? Meet your people where you're at, and engage them on a deeper level so they can continue to grow, right? And then that level can continue to grow. And also, don't try to be everywhere at once. If email is what's doing well, work on boosting your open rates on email. So now more people are responding over email, right? Or if one of these platforms is doing well, try to increase the amount of shares and comments, because those are the things that are getting your community involved. Come on, somebody. And also pumping it out to more people so that they can see it, right? Oh, that was my last thing. I want to open it up for questions, but before I do, I want to let you guys know I'm going to put this link back in the chat, because here's where I'll give you guys all the slides if you guys are interested. Here are the slides, but then also I'm hosting ultimate end of year campaign workshop at the end of the month. We are going to do this, but on steroids, right? Like we're going to actually dive deep. I'm going to do more of these things where I'm chatting with you guys, giving you ideas. We'll even have an opportunity. I have like about 5 slots open if you want to do a VIP day of some sort, and I'll go directly with your organization. We'll actually sit down and I'll go through your donors and we'll actually plan it out. I'll even give you Canva graphics and templates that your team can utilize and post online. The whole shebang, child. Don't say Floyd didn't do nothing for you, okay? So I put the link in the chat. That's where you can get the slides 100%. But then I'll also send you some more details on the workshop and all the different things that we are going to dive into. It'll be a 2-hour day and some more, okay? So stay in touch with me, but I wanted to keep we got 8 minutes left. So I wanted to open up the floor in case anybody has questions.
I don't have a question, but I'm sorry, but every time I watch you on every opportunity, and you're just freaking amazing. I wish I had like a quarter of your energy. It's a really amazing. You're really great.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? I didn't hear from Jen or Gio or Nancy.
No, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying though. I love what you're saying about keeping everyone engaged with the story. I feel like that's something I'm trying to loop in more with my current appeals. So thank you for sharing.
100%.
Boy, I would
Seconded
ask if
on-
we can't do everything that you suggested today, what would be your 2 top priority actions for us to help move us into our best end of year campaign? If maybe we can't get there quite yet in 2024. So what are those top 2 steps or priorities for us?
The first thing that came to me was I would actually name your campaign, because now you're starting to build affinity around it. You can also build a landing page around this campaign. So you're posting you could either use like a fundraising campaign page, or you can just do a regular landing page. I mean, who do you use for your email? Do you use MailChimp, or who do you use for email?
Constant Contact.
Okay, so I don't know, but Constant Contact might have the ability to build a landing page. So
Yes.
whoever you're using, perfect. So I would have a landing page of some sort where you're sharing what you're raising money for. You're sharing all the images of your impact, whatever it is, the whole shebang, but place it in one place. Then
Okay.
I would segment your people. I would say, okay, hey, we're going to try to raise $50,000 for our end of year appeal. And here's specifically who we're going to reach out to. So actually go into your database and put dollar amounts by those people. So you can specifically ask them, hey, can you donate? We need to raise at least $10,000. Like, how much can you contribute, right? And like get really clear on what it is that you want from those people. And then for your peer-to-peer component, set a small goal, right? Like if it's at 36,000, then you need to be able to segment down to the detail how many people that you need to give you what amount to get you to that to get you there, and make sure that that group is different than the end of year appeal people, so then that way you can be tracking those. So name the campaign, host the campaign in one place, like a landing page or a fundraising page of some sort, and then really get into the details of your segmentation of who are you going to target and reach out to. And then also I would just add one more thing. You said what are the top 3? I gave you 4 help, but be clear on how are they going to also spread the word. So make it shareable, right? Whether it be through graphics and whatnot, make it a shareable campaign, because that's going to yield higher results for you.
Thank you.
Me again. So I have been exploring Givebutter. I've signed up, and it sounds like what you're describing is what we can actually do using Givebutter, correct?
100%.
Yeah, and it also has what I'm trying to figure out on Givebutter is that can also be used as a donor database, or that's
100%.
That's really cool. Okay. What about the upgrade? I'm currently in that 30-day trial for an upgrade. What is that?
Yeah, so the upgrade will give you specific. We have like it all listed out on Givebutter Plus. So it'll all be listed on that Plus, but I know you'll have everything that we talked about though you can do for free. So you don't have to necessarily upgrade, but the upgrade will give you access to certain like emailing features. It'll give you access to certain like letter features and whatnot that you can utilize and whatnot. But you can do everything that we talked about here for free on the free version.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Floyd, the next or the upcoming event, do you have a
Mhm.
link to that where people can sign up?
Yes, it will. If people click that link, I'm gonna just send one email with everything. It'll have the slides, it'll have the links, it'll have the whole shebang in there. So just drop your email either. Well, you can't see my screen, but I put the link in the chat. So anybody interested, make sure you sign up that way, and then I will send you everything that you need. Okay?
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me, Lauren. And I'm super excited to see you all and all the success that you guys have. Okay?
Appreciate you coming on with us, Floyd.
much.
And so many people who were unable to attend, they're excited to see this recording. So thank you.
I love it. I love it. And I'll send you the link to Lauren, okay? So you can share it with the rest of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much,
Thank
Floyd.
you.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye.